Hello there. Detailed artifact guide with you. Artifacts are a big deal in Genshin. You want to make sure you equip your characters right. However, it can be tricky to get optimal artifacts. So today I will explain you how to value your artifacts. I will talk about average chances to get artifacts we want in limited time to optimize our artifact stash. Instead of giving you a complicated number sheet of percent chances of which artifact you will get in how many days, and saving myself from the extra work, somebody actually did some of the calculations. I will tell you which artifacts you could keep based on what you expect from them. We will give values to certain artifact substats so we can value the artifact in total. In this system, given substats worth: crit rate 1, crit damage 1, attack percent 0.75 but counted as 1, elemental mastery 0.5 or 1 for specific characters, energy recharge 0.5 or 1 for specific characters, def percent considered for 0 with some exceptions making it function as attack percent, HP percent considered for 0 with some exceptions making it function as attack percent. So from now on, instead of saying flower needs at least 6 substat value total of artifact substats, I will just say flower 6. And if I have to say for the whole 5 artifact slots, I will just give the numbers in order for flower, feathers, sands, cup, and circlet with 6, 6, 3 for 3. In order to have decent artifacts which will give you the power to defeat the abyss, but require you to put in some skill, you can aim this category. In this category, the artifact substats you want are 6, 6, 3, 4, 3 substat rolls of your choice. Would generally get you around 60 crit rate and 120 crit damage given no other source is providing crit rate or damage other than base 5 crit rate and 50 crit damage. This will take around a month worth of farming based on your luck. In order to use characters that are not perfect but good for that current abyss cycle, you need 6, 6, 4, 5 for minimum for your artifacts. This will also help with you not needing perfect rotations. Will grant around 65 crit rate and 130 crit damage given no other source is providing crit rate or damage other than base 5 crit rate and 50 crit damage. This will take 1 to 3 months worth of farming based on your luck. In order to play teams that are not really made for this abyss but could perform well against the single or multiple enemies, you need 7, 7, 5, 5 for substats from your artifacts. This would get you around 70 crit rate and 140 crit damage given no other source is providing crit rate or damage other than base 5 crit rate and 50 crit damage. This will take 3 months or so based on your luck. If you like the character a lot and want them to be usable within Abyss without requiring super smooth rotations, you will need 7, 7, 5, 6, 5 substats. Generally, you will get few pieces that are above the said limits and get you around 75 crit rate and 150 crit damage given no other source is providing crit rate or damage other than base 5 crit rate and 50 crit damage. This will take around 3 to 6 months of farming based on your luck. If your ratios are granting you 80 crit rate and 160 crit damage or higher, trying Yo get a piece that will be considered as an upgrade will waste a lot of your resin and time. Just enjoy your character to its near full potential and have fun. This will generally take 6 to 12 months worth farming based on your luck. What to keep and when to stop for just enough for Abyss. If you want to have an artifact set quickly, you will keep a lot of artifacts. For flowers, keep the artifacts that has a chance to become 6. Thus, any artifact with at least 1 crit rate or damage is a keep. since you will be looking for artifacts that are at least 6 total substat value. Once it can't become 6 anymore, stop rolling it and feed it to another artifact. A +0 artifact will have 5 more upgrades. Thus, if an artifact starting from 1 correct roll rolls into any stat you don't need, that artifact is trash. If it already has some extra stats like energy recharge 0.5, elemental mastery 0.5, attack percent 0.75, to make the artifact at 2 correct rolls, you can afford a single roll not going to your way. If you already have both crit rate and crit damage rolls on your artifact, you can also settle with only 5 total substat rolls from pure crits. For feathers, same apply like flowers. For sands, you will keep any piece with correct main stat that you want as long as it has at least 1 crit rate or damage roll. If its 4th substat slot is open, roll it to +4 to see if you get crit rate or damage. If not, it's trash. Since you will be looking for 3 substat values of total minimum, you will need to roll these artifacts up to +16. If no substat of your choice shows up, it's trash. For cups, you will keep any piece with the elemental damage main stat regardless of its set bonus, unless it has no crit rate or damage from its substats and 4th slot is already closed. Since you will be looking for 4 substats, you will need to roll them up to 12. If no substat of your choice is rolled, it's trash. For circlets, you want to keep every crit rate and crit damage main stat piece as long as it has at least 1 crit substat or has its 4th slot open. Since you will be looking for minimum 3 rolls of your choice, you need to roll them up to +16. If no substat you need are rolled, it's trash. For winking at late game, flower, feather are same as just enough for abyss. For sands, it is still same, but only roll up to +12. If not 2 total already, it is trash. For cups, only keep the ones with at least 1 crit rate or damage substat. Roll it until +8. If none of Gi desired rolls, aka not 2 total substat value, it is trash. For circlet, it is same, but criteria increased. Late game power. For flowers, only keep the artifacts that has 2 substats value at +0. If rolls into anything you don't want, it is trash. For feathers, apply same rules as flowers. For sand, same, but your criteria increases. For cups and circlets, the rules are same. At this stage, it is also important to mention that you will have a lot of +0 artifacts that you don't have artifact experience to level. To avoid this, I would recommend you to increase your criteria for which artifacts to even try for. For example, you can get a 7 rolls artifact from a single crit and attack percent roll already present on it at +0. However, you will get many of those pieces to a point which you will have 4 to 8 flowers which you only use 2 to 3 of. In this case, you might just focus on pieces with double crits only to keep for leveling. In this case, you might not get some of those good flowers you could have get if leveled them, but since you are not going to use many of them, it might be more beneficial for you to spend your artifact experience to only get 2 to 3 artifacts instead. Main territory. For feather and flowers, criterias are same, but you just need to pray for all rolls going into stats you want and start with substats you want. For sands, cups, and circlets, since you will be farming for so long to get the super strong artifacts, you only will need to wait and keep re-rolling. Now with the strong box and elixirs, you can even decide to keep pieces with only double crits, while re-rolling everything else. Discovery of grass. Since you will be looking for only god tier pieces, you can keep only double crit pieces and keep re-rolling until you get a piece with enough rolls. For circlets, since you cannot get double crit, try to get the other crit stat along with what main stat your target character scales with, like ATK percent, HP percent, or def percent. Also use the new elixir mechanics for elemental cups, so you don't end up trying to farm for that cup over a year. 1 to 2 ratio. In order to deal more damage with limited number of substats, you can try to optimize your crit ratios. 50 crit rate to 100 crit damage is ideal. You can wander off from this ideal ratio a little bit, like 40 crit rate to 120 crit damage, without losing too much damage. But 30 crit rate to 140 crit damage would make you lose a lot of damage even though you have same amount of stats. Elemental Mastery. Because getting an Elemental Mastery main stat piece is a lot less likely. Keep them even if they have bad substats for characters who doesn't benefit a lot from crits. If your character still benefits quite a lot from crits and you are willing to put the effort, assume if your goal is to build the sand piece of one tier below when deciding on keeping them. For cups and circlets, your chance of getting Elemental Mastery with good substats is even lower, so just keep them until you are done with farming. Then level the best ones you have, trashing the others. Crit value is a sum of stats to understand how good the artifact or character is. Why crit is more important? Because in Genshin there are a limited amount of sources you can get your stats from. For example, each artifact can have maximum of 9 substat rolls in total. And if it starts with 3 substats at +0, it will be maximum of 8. So you want to utilize those limited 8 to 9 rolls you have by having them be a stat that grants the most value per its roll. So since the crit rolls will grant more power gain with each of their rolls, people want to roll crit instead of others. Also, even if your character can do more damage with lesser crit, but higher attack, when combined with currently strong buffers, having higher crit value will allow you to deal higher damage still. Unless the gap is massive OFC. Double your crit rate coming only from artifacts. Add your crit damage coming from only artifacts. Final result is your character's crit value. For artifact individually, just do the same and find out the number. Higher is better, but know that this method does not put the other valuable stats into consideration. To understand the value of Artifact Strongbox, let's assume you got 108 useless 5-star artifacts. If you re-roll them with the Strongbox, you will get 36 new 5-star artifacts. If they are bad too, you can use again for 12 new artifacts and then another for then another one, giving you almost %50 more artifact re-rolls within the same time period, which increases your chances to get the good pieces you are looking for. So even though they could have been used as an artifact experience to roll more artifacts to 20, you can instead try to get an artifact with higher chance to be better at 20 instead. This is helpful especially when you are looking for really good pieces to get artifact quality, which is for late game. Even if you are looking for just good enough pieces, you should have enough artifact experience to level up 8 to 12 artifacts to level 20 in a month with the artifact experience you would get from spending your resin in artifact domains. The artifacts in the past had one direction to go. They could be used as artifact experience material. Now you have 2 more options. The main use of them is still using them as artifact experience, but you will also need some chunk of them for satisfying elixir. Per patch cycle, which is currently 42 days, you will need 25 plus 4 artifacts to feed into the satisfying elixir. Or you will need 3 plus 20 artifacts and 1 plus 10 to fill up the satisfying elixirs bar. When deciding which way to go, you need to know a few things. If you give plus 20 artifacts to it, you will be giving more artifact experience in total compared to giving batch of plus 4 artifacts. However, if you plan to use the plus 4 artifacts for Strongbox instead, you will be giving 21 to 22 pieces more instead, while losing that artifact experience. Also, when leveling up artifact, while plus 4 artifacts can benefit from rolling times 5 experience when consumed, plus 20 artifacts will make all of that extra experience go to waste. So the choice is not clear, and if anyone wants to calculate all of the possibilities, they are welcome to do so. You can even mention it in the comments. But personally, since I prefer to keep my artifact experience these days, I just feed the plus 4 artifacts and get my satisfying elixir every patch. When it comes to what to get with satisfying elixirs, since your chance of getting the double crit substat elemental damage goblet and the right set bonus you want is one of the really low chances, just use them for the elemental cups with double crit. Some might wonder, but they need 4 of them. Is it still the best option while paying this much more elixirs? Yes, it's still one of the best option. Since I'm saying one of the best option, you might ask what is the best option? It's the Elemental Mastery Goblet with double crit. However, almost none will benefit that much from such an artifact compared to the Elemental Damage Cup on the right set with double crit start. For each 20 resin, you get around 11,000 artifact experience from 3 and 4 stars. Per day, you will around 99,000 artifact experience. To level up an artifact to plus 20, you will need 475 artifact experience. So if you just spend your resin for artifacts only, you will be able to level 1 artifact to plus 20 each 3 days. If you gather the overworld artifact locations too, you will get around 88,000 artifact experience as a bonus daily. Feel free to ask if you have any more questions in the comment section. Thank you for watching, and good luck with your rolls.